rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
Oh, hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showcasing you guys a brand new deck that I haven't shown you on the channel before. I have shown you Horus cards, but I have not shown you these Horus cards, even though they're the same cards. I'm going to be showcasing you guys my back-to-back first place Horus RUNICH deck profile that I have been playing for the current format, and I took this same deck that I have been doing well with at these past couple events, or past couple locals, to my LA regional that just concluded. I didn't have the same result. I did not win the regional, unfortunately. Some days were better than others, as most of you know that do play this game, but I'm not upset about the performance because the deck did exactly what I wanted it to do, other than win. But the deck is a lot of fun. I wanted to give a couple shout outs before we do start this deck profile. I wanted to give a shout out to Roman, I believe. I saw his video on YouTube. I believe he was from Team Empire, if I remember the video correctly. He topped his regional, I believe, with a list that was very similar to this. I took his list and I changed some cards and then just added stuff that I felt I was more comfortable with, and but basically the idea of this deck came from him, so big shout out to him. I wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to Overdose Gaming for helping me get a lot of the cards that you see here. Without them, I would not have been able to basically play this event, so thanks, guys.
Hell yes.
I wanted to give a shout out to my locals as well, Top Choice Gaming and Top Deck Keep, for basically being my testing grounds. And yeah, that's really about it. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the deck profile. So it's been a while since I've done one of these, so bear with me. I'm a little bit shy because it's been 3 weeks now since I've uploaded a video at the time of recording. Again, I apologize. I have been busy. If I was a Horus, I'd be I'm busy, glory of the Horus. We play 3 M-Steadies. We play 1 Duomatef, 1 Happy, and 1 of the guys I just can't pronounce. And then we were on 3 copies of King Sarcophagus. This card goes hard. All these cards are really good. I think you do need to play the 3rd target. I have seen people not play the 3rd target, and I have seen people, well, I guess it's the 4th target if you count these, which you should. The effect of the, God, I don't know what to call it. Protection, I guess, since I can't say its actual name. The protection never really comes up for its own additional effect. It's really just here to be a body for either your Baron or your Chenging, but I do feel like you should just play the additional name, especially since there's a lot of Bastiles going around right now, and if you get your M-Steady Bastilled before you do your King Sark, or before you summon off a King Sark, then, well, you're just kind of SOL there. I do feel like this was the perfect lineup, though. I don't think I would change any of this. I think this is the perfect ratio, and I would play it again going forward. So that's going to do it for the Horus lineup. For the Runic spells, I was on Double Fountain, Triple Tip, Triple Destruction, Triple Slumber, Triple Freezing Curses, Triple Flashing Fire, which was probably my favorite one, and 1 Runic Dispelling. So basically, I felt like this was the correct amount of Runic cards. Granted, I did miss Smiting Storm. I feel like if I played like a Smiting Storm and kept the Dispelling as well, that would have been the perfect amount of Runics. I did feel like some of them were missing, mainly because your goal is to deck your opponent out, if I may be honest, but I think moving forward, I would like to try and find room for a Smiting Storm. Granted, you could probably cut the 3rd King Sark for it, but again, I wanted to max out the Horus cards as much as I could, because I found a lot of the games you were losing was when you just didn't have access to your King Sark. And granted that this card is up to 4 times per turn, you really need it. So, I probably wouldn't cut the King Sarcophagus, but granted, you could probably play the deck at 41, or you can cut something that I'm about to show you at the end of the main deck. But the Runic cards are good. I still really love playing these cards. I think these are some of the most broken cards in the game right now, and I feel like if you can master your recyclability with this deck, then you're probably going to be in for a good one. If you cannot get the tempo down to where you're shuffling 3 Runics back every turn, then I just don't really know what to say. I feel like then you're just kind of gonna fall way behind, and your grind game is just not gonna get there, because again, you are trying to win by deck out with this deck. Very rarely have I attacked for game. Most of the time it's been by deck out or concession. So you basically just want to see as many runics in your opening hand as possible. So that's why I play such a heavy count. Next, we were on 3 copies of Vision Resonator, as well as 1 copy of Crimson Gaia. Before I put this deck together, I was not playing this engine, and I think after I threw it in, these became my favorite cards in the deck. Granted, they do brick because you are adding them every turn off of Crimson Gaia, but the discard outlet for the Vision Resonator just nets you so much advantage. Being able to pitch the Vision Resonator off of like an M-Seti, off of your King Sarcophagus, off of your Hugin, whatever it may be, and then getting the Gaia to basically replace the Resonator you had just lost has just been insane advantage, and it's just so strong. So I feel like if you can play it, do it. If not, then it is what it is. Play a different deck. But these cards are really strong, and I like what they do for the deck. Super awesome tech was playing the Spellbook package. You only play the 3 cards, but basically your game 1s, you want to be as consistent as possible. We don't fear droll in this deck. Laughs in pain. You want to make sure that your consistency is as strong as possible, and you want to make sure that you're digging as far into your deck game 1 as possible. So basically, just these cards do a lot of the work for you. Also, did you know that M-Seti is a spellcaster? So if you have M-Seti out and you draw the Spellbook of Knowledge and like they get rid of your prophecy off of like Blue Boy or something, then you can just send the M-Seti and still draw 2 cards. So pretty neat interaction there. And then the rest of the deck is just non-engine. We play 3 copies of Ash. The only thing I don't like about this deck is the amount of non-engine you cannot fit. Granted, if you wanted to cut the Spellbook package, you could, and you could play like Fenrir's, or you could play like more hand traps, whatever you want to do. But I was on 3 Ash, 1 Talent, 1 Call by the Grave, and I played a Metal Foe Fusion. Basically, this was probably the flex spot of the deck. I was at 39 and I had no idea what to play. I wanted to make sure that I was getting some kind of advantage for every card that I discarded, basically making it to where like if I send a runic off of whatever discard outlet it may be, then I can just use that for a fountain draw. Resonator gets me the Crimson Gaia to search another Resonator. Sending a Horus monster would summon itself eventually back, and basically I didn't want to just send cards from my hand that didn't have advantage to doing so. So I opted to play a Metal Foe Fusion, and it's been really good. This card actually puts in a lot more work than I thought it would. Being able to get that extra draw after they like Ash your M-Seti after you send this with it, basically just gives you an extra card back, so you don't get massively punished. Don't get me wrong, you'll still get punished, but basically every time this card is in the graveyard, you can shuffle it back, draw 1, once per turn by the way, so not every time. But this card just has done so much for the deck ever since I've been playing it, and I don't think I would cut it. And it's also just an easy side out. So basically, I guess I'll get to it when I get to the side deck. But yeah, that's going to round off the main deck. It is 40 cards, no more, no less. Again, you could probably play 41 if you really wanted to by playing like the Smiting Storm, or you can cut the Metal Foe Fusion if you don't feel like flexing for the Smiting Storm as well. But remember, if you don't flex, you don't cash checks. I don't know, beats me with the bet. I'm tired. Moving on to the extra deck, we are on double copies of Hugin. Probably the best runic, of course. 1 Munin, sometimes the level 3 comes up. 1 Gary, basically being able to recycle your runic fountain. I was playing 2 originally, but I ended up cutting it down to 1, and I've missed the second one a couple of times, but I don't think I've missed it enough to where I'm like, hey, I need that card back, but it's fine. And then 1 Sleipnir. This card's fine. It's basically a 3rd Little Knight, but it's not as good. But I don't know. Granted, this could probably be a 2nd Gary if you really wanted it to be, in case you do happen to lose access to both of your fountains real quick. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing else to really say about that. That's really it for that. Moving on to the next part of the extra deck, we have synchros. We have a Herald of the Arclight, Baron de Fleur, and then a Chengying. Basically, all these cards are very solid. I opted to play the Arclight as opposed to playing like an additional like Link monster, mainly because there are going to be times where you draw Resonator and the Hugin and you can't really extend. So basically, if you don't have the Horus cards, but you still have at least those two, you can just summon an Arclight, protect it with cards like Slumber and like your other Runic stuff, and then basically just shut off your opponent's graveyard, essentially, whatever it may be. Really great against tier, unless they have super poly, so that's something you just can't control. Baron was really strong, of course. Changing I haven't made as much as I've wanted to, but every time I have made it, it has been very good because, well, we're just trying to remove cards from play. So all these cards are very strong in their own way. I would definitely play them again. I think they're all just really good for what this deck does. Speaking of really strong cards, one Typhon. I really like this card. It doesn't come up as much as you would like it to, unfortunately, but I still really like it. I like what it does for the deck. Being able to just slap this on top of a Horus monster is just so strong. That way you can just set up your Horus monsters for next turn, whatever it may be. But he's really good. I didn't play the regular Zeus. I just felt like playing Typhon was fine, mainly because I was skipping my battle phase most of the time anyway, so the Zeus would have just been useless instead. So I just thought Typhon was significantly better, and it was. I would not cut this card. I think it's really good. One number 38, also very strong. Dingirsu actually comes up a lot in this deck. I was opting not to play it. I was originally going to play like a number 90, but after putting the Dingirsu in, I probably will never cut this card because it is just that good. And then one Coach King, also just a card that probably shouldn't be legal with how easy it is to access the Horus cards, but being able to draw 3 and draw 3 off your fountain, draw 2 off of your spell books, draw another card off of fusion. Did I mention we draw cards in this deck? The point is you're drawing a lot of cards, and Coach King just being able to draw you 3 additional ones and also burn for every card just makes it easier for in case you do need to start attacking for game, even though your battle phases are mostly shut off due to your Horus cards, or not your Horus cards, your RUNICK cards, but definitely think these cards were perfect. Perfect lineup. And then for the links, I played one Dark Charmer. Didn't really come up. I've never really used this, but I was playing a Masquerena before, which I also just never made, so I couldn't really vouch for it anyway. And then we play one Little Knight, or just kidding. We play 2 Little Knights. This is the second Little Knight that I borrowed. Again, thanks guys. And then I just have that one because I'm a hog and I like Euro cards. Sorry, trust the system. But as much as I hate to say that playing double Little Knight does come up, it does. I definitely would recommend, if you do want to play this deck, probably playing 2 Little Knight. And granted, if you don't have 2, I understand. I didn't have 2. I'm just a little cheater like that for not having 2. But basically, I would just, if you could still play 1, that's fine. If you can't play 1, I would probably play something like Unicorn Masquerena instead, if you were trying to keep this deck a little bit more budget. But yeah, these cards are really strong. I mean, I shouldn't really have to say too much about how good these cards were. I mean, Little Knight's probably just the card of the format right now, other than Wanted, but extra deck was solid. That's really going to do it for that. Moving on to the side deck. The side deck was probably the hardest part of building this deck because there was just so much versatility, so many cards that I wanted to use for it, and basically trying to figure out like what I was going to be playing against for like a regional, locals, and just like different varieties was just way too much. So this is what I opted to play for the final part. It was 3 Lava Golem. Cards insane, being able to distribute 2. You don't really normal summon, and then when you're siding out for your game 1s, you basically set out the spellbook package and you just throw in the 3 Lava Golem, so it's just like a nice easy replacement. You'll have no normal summons after that in the main deck, so you shouldn't have to worry about anything. 3 Lava Golem was solid. Double Fenrir. You could probably play 3 if you really wanted to, but I just thought 2 was fine. Again, because it can just add itself back, and then you can summon it. It's Fenrir. I shouldn't have to explain Fenrir. It's just so good. Remember when Pankratops was a problem? We were on 2 Ghost Sister, mainly because this deck, its goal isn't to stall. It's just a matter of like matches do take long to where you want to have as much advantage on your opponent as possible, and they can't keep attacking you for game if you keep gaining life points. So basically this was just a way to just put my opponents in check. Card's great. 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Granted, yes, I know I brought up why I don't play Zeus because I never go into battle phase. Evenly is for just in case you do go into battle phase. I did kind of throw with this card, I'm not gonna lie, where I just did a destruction in the draw phase, just trying to bait something, only to realize that I couldn't even attempt to enter the battle phase anymore. So that was like the only time where this card was like not good because I was a fool. And then we were on 3 impermanents. This was mainly for Centurion, being able to just have some kind of extra form of response for them. I wasn't necessarily afraid of the deck. It was basically just to make it to where if they were trying to go for like the Calamity play, you just drop the imperm and just hope that it's enough. Odds are it's not, but it is what it is at that point. Sometimes you just need to be better. And then the last card I played, which definitely has been overperforming, is 2 summon limits. Cards cracked. You basically draw like, again, like anywhere between like 8 and 10 cards like every turn 1. So odds of you not seeing this is very slim. So I was originally playing 3 of it, but I opted to cut it down to 2. And then like again, I was playing 3 of the Dogwoods. So I cut the third copy of each of these to make room for the Fenrirs, and honestly, it's been solid. So that's going to do it for the deck profile, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this explanation. Sorry the video is just a little bit longer. Again, I've been gone. I've been busy with work and life and dad stuff and figuring out shit. So it is what it is. So again, I'm just trying to stay consistent as much as possible because I do still enjoy the game. I actually think the game is in a pretty good state right now. The only thing that's kind of like holding me back right now from making it such a priority, other than like feeding my kid, is basically just like prizing, because it's just not super motivating to make this game a priority when it's like you're really just playing for like a playmat and maybe some packs at the end of the day. So the game's just also really expensive right now, so I do feel bad for budget players, but it's just, you got to trust the system. So it's, again, at the end of the day, it's just a hobby. I mean, I love this game, don't get me wrong, but you know, life comes first sometimes. But other than the savvy stuff, I thank you guys for staying and watching the deck profile and staying subscribed. We have we're getting closer to like 2,200 subs, and I'm very thankful for that. But again, if you haven't done it already, please like, comment, subscribe for more. And until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video.